As you might have known, Inspire has been buffed to unseen heights, now allowing you to reach 400% attack speed and giving lifesteal to win any level 1 trade. This allows you to reach mayhem levels of damage with the right strategy in mind, being able to perform mythical levels of feat like killing an Aldous mid-flight when he locked onto you. Miya is the best hero to abuse this with because she can use her ult's invisibility to appear anywhere and quite literally insta-kill any damage dealer. Wind of Nature, or any immune skills that usually work against Miya, are rendered useless as Inspire capitalizes on the processing delay of the human brain. The animation delay of skills, for example Wind of Nature activating after you die, and the fact that the enemy is literally caught off guard to kill any damage dealer before they can react. I doubt even the fastest reaction time Lancelot can avoid this fate as it's literally beyond human capabilities. That's why the main function of Inspire Miya is to flank the opponent's team and wipe out their main damage dealer. You'll be capable of doing this after 2 to 3 items. If you do reach full build and your enemies haven't surrendered yet, it's basically an auto-win. The only win condition you need is the enemy's damage dealer appearing on the minimap. It doesn't matter if your team dies in the process, as position revealed is checkmate for the enemy. Now on to what you should build to make this a reality. For your first item, buy Windtalker instead of Swift Boots. You'll have a 710 gold lead over the opponent in the race to get a tier 3 item. It also gives 3 to 5 times the damage value of Swift Boots, while Swift Boots only give an extra 20 movement speed. In late game you'll even have a Blade of Despair to compensate for the lost movement speed. People who aren't roamers or junglers that buy boots are downright foolish at this point. Since you have a damage item instead of boots, at level 1 you should go from the jungle, immobilize and Inspire burst down the enemy laner, forcing them to tower hug or die. There's quite literally only 2 situations where you can lose when doing this. 1. The enemy is a high-end dry clint with Aegis and they didn't overextend, which means you aggro their minions. Normally high-end dry clint with Aegis is so utterly weak that you'd have no issue out-damaging him. But if you did what I advised earlier against him and end up aggroing the minions, especially the crossbow one, you'll lose the trade, so you should freeze and wait for him to overextend before bursting him, then play safe until you have at least 2 items. 2. The enemy is a bush camping saber with execute, so if you go from the jungle side, you'd be stuck in a melee fight against Saber, an assassin with penetration and enhanced basic attacks at level 1. That is highly dangerous, and you cannot back off, which means you have to rely on RNGesus to save you with crits. You can still out DPS him as I did so with 68 HP remaining, but it's highly not recommended to go from the jungle side if the enemy is Saber. Another annoying matchup is the 1-2-2 rotation that I recommended in my other Miya video. If you have the bad luck to fight this, just play safe and rotate to mid if they freeze lane, be sure not to die. Also pray that your mid teammates are good enough to pressure the enemy and invade their jungle, while their roamer is busy wasting time on you. Now on to the second item. You should build Scarlet Phantom before Berserker Furious with your attack speed. The Frenzy passive will be always active, and it's always good to build crit chance before crit damage. The fourth item is your sustain item. Do not build Husk Claws, you need damage over pure lifesteal. The lifesteal is compensated by other factors such as Inspire and something else I'll show later. That's why DHS is superior. The fifth and sixth items are no-brainers, items to greatly boost your burst potential beyond what it already is. But it's better to build Blade of Despair first as it's passive to increase your total physical attack by 25%, and the fact that you can hold 2 Legion swords before upgrading outweighs the damage boost from Malefic. Therefore your damage with BOD's fifth item is higher than Malefic's fifth item, which makes BOD better to be built first. But even so, your last item should be Malefic instead of a second. BOD's passive effects cannot stack, and Malefic gives a higher damage boost even on squishy heroes compared to a BOD without passive. Lastly, the extremely situational spare items. Swap Windtalker out if you're planning to build them with Wind of Nature. It's useless in every situation except for when there's a Natalia. It's very hard to target her as she very rarely appears on the map. Even when she does, she's usually protected by smoke bomb. If you get targeted by her, you can't burst her down before she smoke bombs if you don't have full build, so for safety's sake build Wind of Nature. Sea Halberd on the other hand is even more useless, and should only be built specifically when the enemy damage dealer grew a brain, and decides to stall the delays to activate Wind of Nature, by building Rose Gold Meteor and Dominance Ice on top of Wind of Nature. Sea Halberd will allow you to burst through Rose Gold Meteor's shield, and since it's a physical attack item, and not an attack speed item like Windtalker, your damage will be higher against someone with Dominance Ice. Next I'll explain the hero synergies. If you have a friend to play with, Florian is a priority as her Flower of Hope gives a 10% physical attack boost to you, not just your items, but your total physical attack after accounting for passives and attack effects, which is ridiculously large. The next three heroes, Johnson, Aldous and YSS, all serve the same purpose, to fulfill the win condition and reveal enemy position. If I have a team with all four at decent skill levels and Florian building mage items, I'd literally never lose a match. Last but not least, you should use the Marksman Emblem. Invest 3 talent points into lifesteal to compensate for the lack of Husk Claws. Physical attack boost is negligible compared to 5% lifesteal. Because seriously, what's 12 extra physical attack gonna do when you'll have over 1,000? The 3.6% crit chance boost is quite literally irrelevant and not worth talking about. Next, 3 points into crit damage. 13.5% extra crit damage is way better than whatever the other two options are. And for the custom emblem effect, choose Weapon Master. An extra 12% physical attack onto items paired with my build is around 60 physical attack, which is basically a 7th item. On top of having Florian, you'd have 8 pure damage boosters, which is 3 higher than the average marksman. Do not use the other effects as they are just ways to chase your enemies and won't help you in any way if you use my build. To put this in perspective, does the fountain need to move to kill you if you get close? Now I'll show you how to implement this strategy in a real match, with literal garbage on my team. So as you have seen, Miya is capable of wiping out the enemy's damage dealers in an instant, with over 1,000 physical attack, 70% crit chance, and 4 attacks per second. If that doesn't give you an idea of the level of power she hides behind being branded as non-meta, then you're actually brain dead. And I'm thankful for it since I don't want Miya to be banned or nerfed.